Hey guys, thank you so much for being here with me today. I know it's where I am, it's nice and sunny, so I really appreciate you taking the time to be indoors while you could be out enjoying the sun. My name is Nicole and I'm a life coach. So I consider myself to be a sounding board, a support system, or a go-to person. Someone who will sit down and help my client figure out what it is that's keeping them from living the life that they want to live. Now, there's several areas of life that we may look at, and then together we will create a simple and effective plan with steps the client takes immediately to start living the life that they deserve to live. In 2012, I started what I now call the first leg of my own healing journey. This was a period of 6 years where I was forced to look at several areas of my own life that just weren't working. And through this experience, I created a program that I call the 6 Doors to a Life Unlimited. This program looks at 6 areas of life, including food and nutrition, decluttering and organization, home care and maintenance, money matters, work life, and personal wellness. We look at the struggles surrounding these areas, and we come up with simple and effective tips, tricks, and plans to gain control of the struggle. So I'm not here today trying to sell you on my program, but it's my intention that by the end of this webinar, you will be able to see the huge impact and importance that decluttering has on all of these areas of life and beyond. So without further ado, let's get right into this. So if you'd like to just sit back, close your eyes if you will. I'm just going to run a little scenario, and perhaps some of these things might sound familiar for all of you. So your alarm clock goes off in the morning, you drag your exhausted body out of bed, and you don't even feel like you've slept from the restless night that you just had. You open your closet and you have no idea what you're going to wear today. Half of your closet is lying on the floor in a heap, and you don't even know what's clean or dirty. Finally, because of time and you're starting to run late, you just grab something and throw it on. You make your way to the kitchen and see a huge mound of dirty dishes waiting for you. The kids are waiting for breakfast, and you don't even have time to make yourself a coffee. You shove the kids out the door before they miss the bus and hand them lunch money on the way out because you didn't have time to make lunches for them. You frantically run around your house trying to find your shoes, keys, phone, your purse. You jump into your car and you speed off for work, knowing that you're going to be late again. You're already late, so you stop for a coffee and a sugary whatever thing you can find for breakfast. You arrive late to work, and you know that your boss is less than pleased. He asks you for a file you were working on, and you know it's buried somewhere at your workstation. It's just going to take a few minutes to find it. You feel stressed and overwhelmed at the seemingly unreasonable amount of work you think you have. Later in the afternoon, you are exhausted and you need a pick-me-up. So it's a coffee run or a chocolate bar and pop from the vending machine. About a half hour before quitting time, you start to think about supper. The kids will be hungry, and then you remember that huge pile of dirty dishes waiting for you. And you know that you would have to spend an hour washing those dishes before you could even find the stove to make supper. So you decide on takeout. You rush home, feed your family, help with homework, and referee several altercations over video game controllers or who could stand out in a snowbank the longest barefoot. You know the kids need a bath tonight, but the tub is dirty and it's full of dirty laundry, and you just don't have the energy to go through and clean it. So bath night has been rescheduled to tomorrow night. By the time you get your kids in bed, you are exhausted So you just sit down on the couch for a minute before you take on the dirty laundry and all of those dishes. Before you know it, you're up way too late and you've polished off the last of the ice cream and chips. You drag yourself to your bedroom and collapse into bed from mere exhaustion. And you tell yourself, tomorrow will be different. I'll start new tomorrow. And the cycle continues. If any of this rings true for any of you, congratulations, you're a human being. Now, I didn't run this scenario to try to make you feel bad, but instead I ran this scenario to let you know that you're not alone. We've all been there at one point or another. So the day that the decluttering light bulb turned on for me was one of the most powerful days in my healing journey. I was in my basement desperately trying to find an important document, and I was going through a pile, and I just stopped for a moment and I glanced around the room just to try to figure out which pile I would look through next. When the words, "This mess is driving me crazy," fell from my lips. And as soon as I said that, it was like a light bulb turned on in my mind. I saw that room, it was like I was looking at it through someone else's eyes. And the thought occurred to me, physical clutter equals mental and emotional clutter. So by physical clutter, I mean those things that they're surrounding you, things that you can see and hear and smell and taste and touch. By mental clutter, I mean those things that are hindering you from, in my definition, those things that are hindering you from being able to think clearly or to make healthy decisions and opinions and thoughts using reason and logic. And by emotional clutter, I mean things that are hindering you from using your emotions or reacting in the most helpful and less stressful way. What's in front of us is what we focus on. And what we focus on, in a sense, is what we become. So if clutter and chaos and drama are the things that are in front of you, that's what's at the forefront of your mind. And those things bog us down and make it difficult to make healthier and better choices and decisions. For example, maybe you're sitting in a room that's full of clutter and it's putting you in a bad mood and you don't even know it. And your child could come into the room and ask for a cookie. Now, you might not be in a bad mood or upset with your child, but you have all of this clutter in the background and you might end up snapping at the child saying, you know, no, dinner's not for another hour. And our children. But if you were in a situation that wasn't bogging you down like that, you might react in a less snappy way, and you know, it would just be a healthier reaction. So I would like to take a couple of minutes and just show you a couple of pictures. This is a picture of, oh, sorry about that. This is a picture of a closet. It's a bedroom closet and it looks like a nice closet. It looks fairly large. It has lots of space for hanging things, lots of place for folding things and bins, and it looks like it has a light in there, and it seems like it has good bones. It looks like a good closet. I don't know about anyone else, but for me, that's as far as it goes with this closet. This closet at this point makes me feel perhaps a bit anxious, like it would be a bit difficult to breathe. I feel like I would want to get in there and get out as quickly as I could. So with a little decluttering, a little bit of tidying and organization, this is the exact same closet. Nothing has been added to this closet except for that cat down in the bottom left-hand corner, and for all I know, she was already buried under that big pile of clothing. But I just wanted to show you the difference. This closet to me looks like a place where I would enjoy getting up in the morning and going to. It feels like I could breathe in there. It feels peaceful and it feels calm. And I might feel inspired to maybe go and look through some things that I hadn't used in a while and maybe try to put a few outfit combinations together that I hadn't thought of before. Now this I wanted to show you these two pictures together just so I could illustrate how much better a little bit of decluttering and tidying can really make a room look and feel. And for me, that picture of that decluttered closet is inspiring. And that's what decluttering does. It sparks inspiration. I would feel inspired to go in there and play around with clothing combinations and come out feeling good about what I was doing. Not too long ago, I was on a Zoom conference with a friend of mine, and she's an artist, and she is a talented artist at that. She took me for a little tour of her studio, and she took me over to a big cabinet where she was storing her art supplies. And when she opened that cabinet, the look on her face was absolutely priceless. She had organized all of her things. She had organized her brushes, her pencils, all of her art supplies in their own little containers, and she labeled them. She was so full of joy and inspiration, and that's the thing about decluttering. When inspiration strikes and you're decluttered and you know that your things that you need to paint or whatever it is that you want to do are right there, instead of having to go through the house and find all of those things, because at that point there's a good chance that you've lost the inspiration and you could have lost something absolutely amazing. So the day that I realized that physical clutter equals mental and emotional clutter, I knew that I had a huge task in front of me. Now, like many other people, I was working a 40-hour work week, and I might add that if you're a stay-at-home mom, you're working a 40-hour work week as well. So I knew that I had to declutter my life, but I had a full-time job, so whatever I did had to be quick, it had to be simple, and it had to be long-lasting, and it had to be budget-friendly. So because the worst thing is putting together, going out, buying the things to do a project like an organizing project to find out that it doesn't work. So I knew that whatever I did was going to have to be really simple and budget friendly. And I will share a few of those tips and tricks in a couple of minutes here. So when I actually got a hold of my clutter, the first thing that I really noticed a huge difference in was it was so much easier to clean my house. Now, when my home is clean, I am at peace, and that's where I want to be. But when you have to move boxes and bags and books and toys and clutter in order just to clean a little space, it does not take long before you become exhausted and you end up giving up. When we go through our house and clean, we want to be just that. We want to be the cleaner. We don't want to have to be a moving company before we become the cleaner. It's exhausting, and it's no wonder people give up. The next thing that I really noticed was decluttering my kitchen had a huge impact on my health and nutrition. Now, previous to this, I had drastically changed my diet, but when I decluttered my kitchen, I took my health and nutrition to a whole other level. I changed the way that I used my kitchen. I loved being in my kitchen. I wanted to start cooking. I wanted to meal plan, meal prep. I wanted to cook. And I also found that it was a lot easier to keep clean. I stopped getting all of the takeouts and buying so much processed food because I just enjoyed being in the kitchen so much more, and I wanted to use it to its fullness. I was in a better mood. I was losing even more weight, and I just felt better about my food and nutrition, and it showed. Another area that I noticed an impact and an improvement in was my money. Now, I hadn't gotten a raise, I hadn't paid off any bills, but yet I started to notice that I had more money in my bank account. Well, I stopped with the takeouts, or so much takeout. I stopped buying all these fancy processed prepackaged foods, so I saved money there. When I decluttered my home, the biggest thing that I found though was that I wasn't going out buying multiples of the same thing that I already had in my home that I couldn't find. For example, I'm sure that there's someone out there that can identify with this, but have any of you had to go out and buy a roll of Scotch tape or scissors or wrapping paper to wrap a birthday gift, knowing full well that you probably have 3 or 4 rolls of Scotch tape somewhere in your home that you can't find? I'm sure I'm not alone in this. Or, you know, how many times have you had to buy picture hooks to hang a picture or whatever? When I decluttered my kitchen, I'm not proud of this, but I found 2 or 3 half-used jars of peanut butter rolling around in there. But when we know where our things are, it's so much easier to look after them. And we're not constantly spending money on things that we already have. Another thing that I noticed was that my work life had improved. When I started showing up to work on time, because my home was so much easier to maneuver in the morning, I had my food with me, my coffee, I was prepared for the day. I walked into my job in a much better frame of mind. I was happier, I was in a better mood, and it reflected throughout the whole office. When I had control of my workspace and control of my time and had my things prioritized, my job flowed easier and I was able to give 100%. And that huge pile of ridiculous workload that I thought I had wasn't that big at all. Last but not least, I found decluttering my home had a huge impact on my personal well-being. Now, clutter for me, in my home, I found caused stress and strain on my relationship. It impacts your well-being all around. Clutter can put you in a bad mood without even knowing that why you're in the bad mood. It just causes anxiety and depression. The other part of clutter in the home is it can cause physical ailments to your body, but also to your property. You know, a pile of clothing or stuffed animals against a wall or in a corner can cause mold to form. You know, a box in front of a window could hide a leak that could potentially damage your home or the contents of that box. But the biggest thing that I noticed with my personal well-being was when I decluttered, I gained a sense of appreciation for what I had. When you can identify the things that are in your home, instead of just seeing them in a big pile of nothing that you can identify, it puts you in a different place. It makes you appreciate what you have in your home. And I guess it's because you put a little more focus on all of the little things that are in your home. So wherever you are right now, if you just stop and pause for a second and just take a look around the room that you're in and look for one thing in that room that you like or that you're glad you have. It could be a decorative piece, it could be a picture, it could be a lamp, it could be a toaster. But just look at that article in your home and think how much that enhances your life. Because when we get in a state of appreciation for the things that we have in our home, it goes throughout our entire life. Appreciation puts you in a positive state of being, and it's probably the biggest way to improve your overall well-being, physical, mental, and emotional. So, because this webinar is less than an hour long, I'm not going to go into the specifics of, you know, organizing your paper or whatever. But I'm going to go through the tips and tricks when I started my journey that had the biggest impact on my life, and these are the things that encouraged me to continue with my decluttering experience. So the first thing that I would recommend is, when you begin this journey, is to grab 2 boxes, 2 bins, 2 bags, whatever it is, and label these 2 bags. One label keep and label the other one trash. And start, it doesn't matter where you start, just start in one room. And the first thing you need to do is get your paper under control. In my experience, from my own perspective, and from clients and other people that I have worked with, the biggest source of clutter, or one of the biggest sources of clutter in a home, is paper clutter. So if you can just slate off a little bit of time and go through one room and just grabbing all of the paper, whether it's receipts, whether it's bills, whether it's important documents, flyers, mail, junk mail, whatever it is, and sort it in these 2 bins, keep and trash. Go through your entire home, well, however much time you have, just start this. But when you complete, when your time slot is up, then before you do anything else, take your trash bin or box or whatever you're using and dispose of the paper that is trash. It might have sensitive information on it. You may need to shred it. You might burn it or destroy it. Or the junk mail you can recycle, but just dispose of that box, of the contents of that box, immediately. Now with the keep bin, you've got a couple of options. You can either leave your paper there for now or permanently, that's up to you, or you can refine that bin and start a filing system. But just start there, get all of the loose papers together, and that includes photographs. I find school pictures and pictures that people give us, there's so much of that floating around our homes, and we don't know what else to do with it, so we just bury it under more piles. Put it in, just keep all of your paper in one place, because when you're looking for an important document, it's a lot easier to go to that one bin that's labeled paper, go through that, than it is to go through an entire home looking through drawers and purses and wallets. At that point, it's like looking for a needle in a haystack. So my biggest thing with starting this process is get your paper clutter under control. The next big source of clutter in most homes is laundry. So the same thing, grab a bin, a basket, grab a laundry hamper, whatever, a bag, it doesn't matter, and go through each room in your home just looking for laundry, because it's amazing how one sock can end up under the sofa or down in those cracks of the sofa. You know, there's towels here and there, or there could be a pile of laundry that you meant to put away. It just get your laundry all in one place. And so even if you take your laundry to the laundromat once a week, it's all in one place and you're good to go. Otherwise, if you have the facilities and the means to do your laundry at home, I find it's easier to do one load every day or every couple of days, to wash it, dry it, fold it, and put it away, one load a day, than it is to tackle 5 or 6 loads in one day. The next thing that I recommend is setting a timer for 10 to 20 minutes, whatever time you have, but just take a few minutes every day, and I call it the 10-minute pickup. Get a little basket again, go through each room in your house, and if there's something that doesn't belong in that room, put it in the basket and just go through and tidy up every room in your home. It is absolutely amazing the impact that a quick tidy up can have on your home. It makes it look so much cleaner, and it's so much easier to get in there and start the cleaning process. A huge thing that I can't start my day without doing is making my bed. If that's all you do in the run of a day, make your bed. Your bed is a huge piece of real estate in that room, and even if the rest of the room is spotless, an unmade bed can wreak havoc on your mind. It can look like a tornado went through. So make your bed every day. Don't go to bed with dirty dishes in your sink. I probably don't have to tell anyone how to do their dishes, but if you have a dishwasher, load them as you go. Or I like to start, when I start cooking a meal, I like to run a sink full of soapy water, wash the dishes as I go, even if you let them drain in a rack, and then you can put them away, and by the time your meal is done, you wash up a few plates and it's done for the day. So I guess if I can offer one piece of advice, it would be not to look at the big picture, how much you have to do, because this can be extremely overwhelming and it can cause you to not even start. So don't beat yourself up. Don't compare yourself to others. Just start somewhere. And even if it's a tabletop in a corner, just start somewhere, relax, and enjoy what you're going through, because you will get through this. My favorite now, and here's the thing, and I should have put this as the first of my tips. I have to give you a warning, because when you start to declutter your home, it gets contagious pretty quick. When other family members see the impact that it's having on your home and on your mood, there's a good chance that they're going to want this for themselves. And this is apt to spread throughout your home to other family members. And furthermore, this could spread to outsiders looking in. Now, my favorite piece of decluttering advice is actually about decluttering within. Do something just for you every day. When you get up in the morning, get dressed, wash your face, fix your hair, because caring for yourself is as important, if not more important, than caring for your home. Because your body is, after all, your permanent home, and you're the only one that lives here. It's the only one that you get in this life, so treat it well. You can't just pack up and move to another one. So care for it and give it all the love that you can. One little tidbit that I'd like to offer is I find it a very effective way to switch my focus when I'm upset or worried or in a bad mood or having an argument with someone or just needing to get rid of some negative emotion, is I go to the mirror and I take a good long look at myself. I look myself in the mirror and I say, Nicole, what can I do right now to make you feel better? You know, a lot of the times the answer might be go for a quick walk, have a glass of water, take a nice long bath, you know, eat some healthy food. But replaying all of those negative thoughts and conversations or situations over and over again in your mind, it's not going to change the situation. And it's only going to have a negative impact on your physical, mental, and emotional well-being. So this has gone pretty quick, and it's basically, for the most part, what I have to offer during this webinar. I'd just like to say thank you to everyone that stopped by to listen to my information, and I really hope that it's had some value for you in your life in some way. I cannot express enough the importance that decluttering had on my physical, mental, and emotional well-being. When I decluttered my life, I was able to free up precious space in my mind and in my body that was previously occupied by clutter and anxiety and stress and chaos. And it freed up that precious real estate so that I could think about what I actually wanted my life to look like and how I could make plans and set goals to achieve those plans. I was able to turn from stress and anxiety and burnout to peace, joy, and well-being. It gave me a new excitement for life. And it just allowed me to start living the biggest, happiest life that I could live. The life that I deserve to live. The life we all deserve to live. A life unlimited. You know, it doesn't matter where you are on your decluttering journey. It's never too late to make positive changes. You don't have to do everything all at once. You might be just at the beginning of your journey. You might be in the middle of your decluttering journey, or you might not even know where to start. And that's okay, because you are exactly where you need to be right now. So just start. Just start with a handful of mail. Just start with a box that's been sitting in a corner for a while. And I promise you, it will have this snowball effect on your entire life. I've lost my place. I'm really sorry about that. You know, decluttering physically, when it frees up this space in your mind, it helps you process things in a whole different light. And you might even see that some of those mountains that have been in front of you for so long are nothing more than molehills. And molehills can be swept away. I'm not saying that decluttering is going to make all of your problems magically disappear, but what decluttering does or can do is help to free up that space in your mind to help you process those things that life will throw at you in a much healthier way. So that's basically what I have to say. Take your time with this. Don't stress about it. And appreciate all that you're going to accomplish, because I know you will. And I just want you to know that you can do this. You're amazing, you're loved, and you are so worth this. So thank you all for your time. And I'm sending all of my love and my hugs, and happy decluttering. So before we open this up for questions, there was a question that was forwarded to me, and I'm going to read it to you, and then I'm going to hopefully answer it to the best of my ability. So the question reads, why is it so hard for me to part with anything? I save everything, but not expensive things. I save books, paper clips, drawings from my grandchildren, our wedding cards. This will be our 41st year married in August. Congratulations. Christmas decorations, clothes, souvenirs from my deceased in-laws, bookmarks, popsicle sticks, party light items I have not even opened yet, nail polish, envelopes, scrap paper, pictures, and the list goes on and on. We've been trying to declutter during the pandemic, but have mostly cleaned our filing system of old papers not needed anymore. What is wrong with me? I have followed decluttering seminars and have done some decluttering, but then I regret the things I gave away. Our house is full and cluttered. What am I to do? Everything I have tried has failed. Any help would be appreciated. Well, let me start off by saying there's nothing wrong with you. You're not alone. Many of us, including myself, have struggled with this same issue. If not, there would not be decluttering seminars like this one. We obtain things through life. People give us things. Our children, our grandchildren give us art projects and gifts. We buy things, and we hang on to these things as reminders of that person, or because good money was spent on those items. And there's nothing wrong with that until those items take over our homes and our lives. I would say, since you have attended several decluttering seminars, I would imagine that I don't have to tell you the process to declutter. But if I were in your shoes, I would start with those sentimental items. Because you don't use them every day, I would designate one area in your home, probably a basement or a place that's out of the way under a staircase or something like that. And for me personally, I have a Rubbermaid container in my basement, and it's marked sentimental. So what doesn't fit in the container, I know that I have to make a decision. And periodically, I go through the container, and sometimes I find things that are in that container that I'm ready to part with. The thing is, just because we get rid of something, we just need to know that it doesn't mean that our memories of that person are going to go away, or that we don't love them or care for them or miss them anymore. It does not mean that at all. I think the hardest part of decluttering is the guilt we hold about getting rid of things. Guilt over the money that was spent or who gave it to us, especially if that person is now deceased. But you need to ask yourself, what is the real cost of holding on to these things? Clutter causes stress and anxiety, which wreaks havoc on our body. Clutter, as I've mentioned, it can make you physically ill. It can put you in a bad mood. It can cause you to have difficulty thinking clearly. It can cause stress and strain on relationships. And the list goes on and on. So you have to really ask yourself, is all of that unnecessary clutter worth your health? You know, when you make the choice to get rid of something, ask yourself, is this item stressing me out? Is it causing me anxiety? Do I have to move this item to walk through the room, or is this always in my way? You've got to ask yourself those questions. Then you need to ask yourself, what if I were to donate this? Candles and books and unused popsicle sticks and household items. All of those things can enhance someone else's life if you were to donate them. That person might not be in the position to get those items otherwise. There's always someone worse off than you and me. And what if that item that's stressing you out, that you keep stubbing your toe on, or you keep having to move to clean around, what if that item could bring joy and ease to someone else's life? And the other thing that I have done in the past is I've imagined that person, oftentimes that deceased person, I imagine if I was having a conversation with them, if I asked that person, or if I asked myself, that person who gave me this item, would they want me to feel stressed and sick because of something that they gave to me? And anyone coming from a place of love certainly would not want you to feel that way because of something that they gave to you. The other part of this question is about having regrets. Now, the person that asked this question said they have regrets over donating or getting rid of things. And contrary to many decluttering experts, this is normal in my books, and I've had that same regret. It's my belief that regret is your mind's way of trying to convince you that the changes that you are making are uncomfortable, So what does the mind do? It plants seeds of regret and what ifs. What if I need this thing later? What if I can't afford to get another one? You know, it's easier to stay the same, even if it's in a negative place, than it is to do the work and make positive changes. And for the most part, human beings are not big fans of change. But when you feel the freedom, peace, and calm that decluttering can bring, oh, those regrets will not last long. Your home is your haven, and you have to remember that. Your home is your haven. It's where you spend a big part of your time. It's where your heart is. So treat it well. It's a place where you should feel peace, calm, and relaxation. There's enough drama, stress, and chaos out there. Don't let it into your home too. And if it's already there, it's time to boot it out. Please don't beat yourself up anymore over this, because wherever you are on this journey, it's exactly where you need to be right now. And give yourself the huge credit that you deserve for trying and trying again. In the question, you commented that everything you have tried has failed. I really have to disagree with you there, because failure is trying once and giving up, or not trying at all. You have already overcome your paper clutter, and that's huge. And like I said in my presentation, paper clutter is pretty much the #1 source of clutter that we need to tackle when we first start this journey. And I know that you're going to conquer the rest of this too. And if I didn't think you were going to do this, I know that you wouldn't be asking for help. So make the most of this journey. Take your time with this and go at your own pace. There's no hurry. Thank you for your time. And Nicole, if you would like to open up the questions, I guess.
Yeah, so we have 2 questions. I'm going to read them together. The first one says, any advice on how to get rid of items from a spouse who has passed away? And the second one is, I've lost 3 family members in the past 2 years and have inherited too much stuff. I find it difficult to let it go. Any suggestions?
Wow. Okay. Yeah. I totally understand that, because you know, with both of them, and a lot of this is loss. You know, with both of these, I guess you really need to kind of how I answered this last question. You need to ask yourself, or this person, sit down as if you were having a conversation with them. Does that person, what would that person say to you? Would that person want you to hang on to something that is causing you so much anxiety, so much pain? Because that's what this is. All of this stress and anxiety and worry, as I've said it over and over again, it causes not only physical ailments, but it causes emotional and mental ailments, or discomfort as well. You know, we need in this day and age, we need to have a haven in our home. And when you go home, it shouldn't be a place where you don't want to go home to. It's at the end of the day, driving home from work should be a sense of relief and a place where you want to go. So, you know, you really, my heart's with you. My heart is with you all over this one, because this is so difficult. Take it one step at a time. You know, if you can weed through the things that, even a few things that you're definitely not going to get rid of, set those things aside. Start with things that aren't as near and dear to your heart. You know, maybe with your husband's things. I'm sure that there's someone out there that you could donate those things to, that could really enhance their lives. And maybe pick out a few things, maybe pick out, you know, a few shirts, a few of the special items, and just tuck them away in a container or something somewhere. And as you go through this process and heal, I promise you, it's going to be easier and easier to let go of those things. You know, it's, even if you start with one room, start with a little sitting area, even if it's a section of a room, make yourself a little haven where you can go and you can feel good, and just declutter that area. And when you do that, it's going to spread throughout your house. You're going to say, okay, well, if I can do this in this area, then I'm going to go ahead and declutter another area. And just keep going, just keep plugging away. It's, as you, I know this really is, it's not a good answer, but it's the best that I can give you, because I've been there. As you heal, you're gonna be able to let go of things easier. But for the time being, declutter as best you can, and put those things away, put them in a room, save them for the end of your decluttering journey. And then as you get through it and you see how much better you feel, as your house feels better, it's going to make it easier. You might be able to work some of those things into your decor and switch some of the things that you have for some of those items. Or, you know, you might be able to start asking yourself, is it worth messing up what I've done to try to fit this item into my house? But, you know, as you heal, you're going to be able to let go of those things easier. And my heart's with you, because I have been down that road. I've been down that road a few times. I hope that helps. Sir.
Yeah, we have another question. It says, I've fluctuated in weight a few times over the years and tend to keep different sizes in clothing. Would you suggest keeping several sizes?
I've done that in the past as well. However, I wouldn't recommend that, for the simple fact that when you open your closet, it's so good to open up a closet and know that the things that are in there are going to fit you, and you look and feel good in them. You know, sometimes there's something special that you bought that you really liked. You may have paid a lot of money for it or whatever. And I see nothing wrong with hanging on to a few of those items for a while. But you need to ask yourself again, are all of these things that are hanging in this closet or in a box somewhere that I'm holding on to in case I gain weight or lose weight, is all that real estate that those things taking up going to cause more stress and anxiety? Or if you get rid of them, is it gonna feel better for you? And I think getting rid of those items, it might be hard at first, but when you open up your closet and know that what's in there is stuff that you can wear, and I think that's how I would do it. And the other thing that I found is, by the time when I saved these items, by the time I either gained weight or lost weight and was fitting into them again, my body had changed. They looked different on me. They weren't in style, and I didn't use them anyway. So long story short, I wouldn't hang on to them. But again, you know, it's something that you have to be totally comfortable with doing.
Okay, and the last question we have right now, it says, thank you very much for your wonderful advice. The paper clutter is far from done, but we did start to get some done during the pandemic, but I feel stuck. Although I'm not done, I do not know what to do next.
So she doesn't know what to do next with her paper clutter. Is that it? She doesn't know what to do next with her paper clutter, or?
I would say that she doesn't know what to do next with paper clutter, or after she's done the paper clutter, what to do next after that.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that's the paper clutter. It either break down your paper clutter, you know, into your own filing system, however you want to do it. I know one thing, when I had the paper clutter, I had a lot of loose photographs, like school pictures of kids, niece and nephews, whatever. And I started, okay, so I designated a little box for pictures, but the rest of it I started, you know, filing systems accordingly. If she doesn't, or like if the question's what to do after the paper clutter, well, I would start, like I said, with the laundry, getting that under control. But I think the next thing after paper clutter, in my personal opinion, is kitchen clutter. Because like I said in my presentation, when I decluttered my kitchen, I took my health and nutrition to a whole other level. And really, our health is our wealth. And without it, it's hard to, without it, we really have nothing without our health. So if it were me, I would tackle my kitchen next. And because when I decluttered my kitchen, it was like I found this hidden gem that, well, I knew I had it, but I looked at it in a totally different light when I knew where everything and what is in my kitchen. And it just made me want to be in there, and it inspired me to try new recipes and just to stop. It inspired me to stop spending money on processed foods and prepackaged foods, because I could make a lot of it myself. And I gained clarity. I lost brain fog when I changed my diet. So really, if you could do your kitchen as the first room, oh, that's where I would go.
Okay, that's all the questions that were submitted. Do you have any other suggestions to add before we finish?
The only thing, and I just can't stress it enough, is don't beat yourself up. Don't think, you know, don't think all of these negative things about yourself, because you are where you are right now on your journey, and it's exactly where you need to be. Don't compare yourself to what your friend or your family member has done with their home and their life. This is your life. Nobody else walks in your shoes, and nobody else lives in here but you. So be kind with yourself and be gentle with yourself, because this is for you. Do this for you. And when you do it for you, it's going to blossom to everyone that you're around. So when you get all of this under control for you, everyone's gonna benefit from this. That would be my advice.